Hey guys, are we ready to start?
Morning.
Yep.
Morning.
Then, so one and welcome to our AMA. This is Manic Unicorn, and I'm here today with Majestic Unicorn.
Hi.
Yep, and Fluffy Unicorn.
Hi, everyone.
Yep, and then our very own co-founder and CEO, Aron Beierschmitt.
Good morning.
All right, great. So anyway, let's get this AMA started. If you guys would like to ask your questions, kindly press the request to speak button. And well, we'll go ahead and go through the request queue one by one. Once you're unmuted, feel free to ask your questions. Also, you may post your questions in the AMA question text channel found just above this stage. All right, so does anybody have a question? All right, so no one's requesting just yet.
If there are none, I could go through the first question in the AMA
Yeah, that
questions.
sounds good.
Yeah, and this one's from Space Traveler. It's the question that everybody's always asking. Is there a scholarship system for owners to manage them easily?
Yes, we are building a scholarship system. We're designing it as a delegation contract. And the ultimate idea is that you'll be able, very similar to Decentral Games' ice poker system, right? Effectively delegate NFTs and set the revenue share split. The one caveat is I'm not 100% certain we will have that the day the game launches in March. But it's a top priority for us. I'm not a fan of how, in particular, Axie does it with kind of the QR code and the fact that the scholars don't necessarily have a trustless relationship with their managers. And so our desire is to, build a fully fleshed out delegation contract. And that is in progress.
All right, we still don't have any questions in the request queue, so I think Fluffy, you can continue asking the text questions.
Yeah, all right. This one's from Kat in Unicorn Land. Do you guys have a plan to make Land's gameplay customizable like Sandbox, or is it strictly for farming activity only?
So there'll be a lot of customization options on Land. You're not necessarily going to have the sandbox voxel style, Minecraft style freedom to just build anything and everything. But we will be releasing a number of things like decorators and stuff, so you can build pathways and very similar to other farm sim kind of decorator games, right? So there's going to be a lot of customization, but it's very much like I view it more like putting Lego pieces on a grid, right? Versus being able to completely reimagine things from the ground up. So yes, customization. I'm not sure at the level some people expect, but there will be a lot of customization for sure.
Thanks
All
for
right.
that. Do we have any people who want to speak?
Yeah, we actually do.
Okay.
So I'm going to unmute Sephiroth 13. All right, you're unmuted. Could you try saying something? Okay, I don't think it's working. I think we should ask the next question.
All right, so we have two very interesting questions here from Coco. One is active users are one of the most important metrics to a game's success. How do you plan on onboarding and keeping new users? Sorry about that. And how do you feel it has a competitive edge versus your competitors? And the second question is there's a lot of negativity in mainstream gaming and media towards NFTs and crypto. How do you plan on overcoming that negativity and protecting the success of your game, especially since the word crypto's in the title?
Yeah, I mean, part of that, the naming behind the game was purposeful. We wanted to lean into this space. We wanted to very much focus on the audience of kind of crypto native people who've already taken the red pill. And the bet that we're taking is that more and more people over time do take the red pill. Specific to the NFT hate, I kind of laugh it off a little bit. It's very similar to the early free-to-play hate. If you were around during the early days of free-to-play, there was enormous amounts of hate dumped on it, and it's now the largest segment of gaming. So it's kind of my belief that NFT games will eat free-to-play in the way that free-to-play kind of ate, a huge chunk of the gaming industry revenue. And you fast forward to a decade, right? We have Call of Duty Warzone, I think, is a pretty good example of a core game adopting free-to-play very successfully. And the hope would be that Crypto Unicorns acts as a really positive example of how NFT games can, grow and build something really special. So I expect more hate to get, leveled at the industry as a whole, not just crypto, but NFTs. I think it's our responsibility as early adopters here to show people the way. As far as the first question goes, I mean, yes, daily active users are enormously important, and daily returning users is really the metric that we'll watch most closely, because that's much. I think DAO can be a vanity metric. Daily returning users really shows you've got something people care to return to, right? So that's probably the core. One of the core KPIs we'll be watching very closely. As far as how to optimize for that, I mean, the on-ramp into the game needs to be very simple, right? You're going to go from wallet to effectively airlocking your NFTs into the game. That's basically how you'll get set up to play. And then from there, we're purposely trying to make the UI extremely easy to understand. And in addition, going to be doing a game manual that people can kind of refer to get into the experience. But as we've been designing the UX and in particular all the user flows through the product, our focus has always been on, hey, you should know where to go forward and back on any view, within any menu inside of the experience. And so it's kind of our hope that works well. We're not going to be doing some heavy-handed tutorial or fatui. We're just going to, I'm not a fan of first-time user experiences that drag players through a bunch of button mashing. Much rather, you reference the game manual and get into the game in your own way. If we find things that are confusing, though, we have a contextual tutorial system. It's a very simple system that allows us to effectively prompt users with a very simple, not on the Rails tutorial, but effectively an explainer. So like you might open the nursery building for the first time and have a scrollable tutorial that teaches you what to do in that, right? And so I think we want to take some player feedback early on and use that to design and improve the on-ramp.
Yeah, thanks for that. Really interesting answers. Do we have any brave unicorn friends, or should I move on to the next question?
Yeah, we actually have one.
Yay!
He's back. So, Sephiroth, I'm going to unmute you. Let's see if this works. All right. Okay. I don't think it's
The
working.
anticipation, it's killing me.
Right. All
I
right.
have to know the question. I have to know the question.
All right. So while Sephiroth's fixing his mic, I have something here from Venticello. Two questions, actually. When and how will the new land plots appear after the third phase of the sale and the launch of the game?
Yeah, so the third phase will be no different from the second and first in terms of, post-purchase, you being able to see them in OpenSea and in our app.cryptounicorns.fun UI. When the game itself launches, like I was kind of mentioning earlier, you'll boot up the game UI, you'll connect your wallet. It will, of course, read what you have in your wallet inventory. You'll be able to select the assets that you want to utilize in game. As we've mentioned before, on the land side, each individual player can put up to 9 land tiles together initially. And so you'll be able to effectively check all that stuff into the game, and from there you'll be ready to play. Sneak peek of that gameplay is coming early Feb for those interested in checking it out.
All right. I don't think we have anyone. Oh, right, we do. Okay, let's try giving God bless no sleep.
Hello, good morning.
Right,
There we
good
go.
morning.
Hello. May I ask something about the the farm play? Uh, how many is the equivalent of lands without unicorn compared to a land with a unicorn?
Yeah, the productive difference is going to be pretty high. And that is purposeful, right? We're not going to prevent people from starting to plant seeds and harvest berries on land without unicorns. But those having unicorns are going to receive a significant buff. Part of that is, well, unicorns have high utility, right? So my expectation is that, some players will breed unicorns and not trade with other players to kind of build out their own stock, fill out their own estate. I think enterprising players, groups like Breeder DAO, are going to have a lot of early success being the supplier of, new, either unhatched unicorn eggs or baby unicorns to the market. So there's kind of an interesting choose your own adventure strategy there in the early days. Because, yeah, there's going to be a very high demand for unicorns, which was kind of purposeful in how we designed the system. So there is a significant advantage to having a unicorn plus land versus just having land to start the game.
Great.
All right.
Thank you. I'm
Thank you for the
good.
question.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, does that answer? Okay, so I think he's good. Let's try calling Sephiroth. Hey there.
Third time's the charm. Is it gonna work?
Oh, this is killing me now. You have to ask your question in text chat
Okay.
because I must answer
Okay.
that question. I have to know.
All right. We have one from Kuan. This
All
has
right.
been asked before, but it came up again. Why are we on Polygon? Why not use Ronin sidechain developed especially for games?
The $1 billion question.
Yeah.
One of the reasons that we chose Polygon was it's not just one chain, right? It's kind of to steal from Cosmos, it's an internet of blockchains. If you don't know, Polygon is actually Cosmos built on top of Ethereum. And that really attracted me to it as, you don't just have the proof of stake network, right? You have Hermes, which is a ZK rollup. You have the Maiden system, which is supposedly going to be an EVM compatible ZK rollup. And then you have what was once known as the Polygon SDK. I forget what they've rebranded it to recently, but the Polygon SDK would actually allow us to build our own proof of authority sidechain, very similar to Ronin. And so having all those options with the ability to deploy now on the fully EVM compatible proof of stake Polygon chain was one of the reasons that I chose them over a Solana, certainly over Immutable X and other players in the space. There's no denying that the Ronin chain will be very attractive to game developers. They obviously already have millions of wallets, aggregated audience around the most successful in the game in the space to date, Axie. The one challenge with like the Ronin side bridge or side chain, excuse me, is that you still have to bridge from Ethereum. And yes, there are hot bridges and things or liquidity bridges, excuse me, that will get you over there fast and cheap. I think one of the advantages that application-specific side chains in the Polygon ecosystem will have is you can bring it back to the proof of stake network, right? Which would still be very efficient and very cost-effective. I also, the Ronin sidechain, they're going to have to very much build an entire ecosystem on that sidechain. They've started that with the Katana decks and things. And that's really inspiring. That's very cool. I hesitate to think that you want an application-specific sidechain doing all of that, though, right? I get having an application-specific sidechain to run a game, and that option is available for us if we were to port over to leveraging the Polygon SDK. And that would still give users a relatively seamless experience if they wanted to bridge back into the Polygon stake network where there's, all the DeFi dApps stuff. And so I guess to sum it up, I continue to think that the Polygon ecosystem is a great place to build. And at the core of that is the choose your own adventure, right? We have the option to go the ZK EVM route over time. We have the option to go the application specific sidechain route. We could stay on the proof of stake network. So anyway, there's a lot of options, and I still feel pretty confident in the direction that the Polygon ecosystem is heading.
All right, did that answer everything? I guess we can move on to our requests. So here we have a request from Infinity.
Hello.
Hey there. All right,
Hey.
he's here.
Yeah, hi. So, I just wanted to ask about the in-game market. So, would it be running on a blockchain? And then, a follow-up question will be could you discuss more about the in-game market and how buying and selling would work?
Definitely. The component that would run on chain would be you signing for a Rainbow token transaction. If you've earned Rainbow tokens in game but have not synced them to MetaMask or whatever software wallet you're using, you would be able to buy and sell without a blockchain transaction. If you've synced them and they're sitting in your wallet, you can obviously still run it, but it would be an on-chain transaction to execute a buy or sell order against the Rainbow token marketplace. I guess the TLDR on the marketplace is that it's kind of this peer-to-peer market. Our design team will set a daily amount of bundles, things like 100 cloudberries or a certain amount of materials, occasionally very high value things like top tier evolutionary or breeding boosters. And all of those things can be bought and sold in the market. We set a bonding curve, a pricing curve behind it. So we have some measure of control on that front. And when you execute a buy or sell order, you leverage a unicorn to take those materials and things to market or bring them home from the market. And so anyone buying or selling, for example, let's say cloudberries, if I sell a bundle of 100 cloudberries, the price will go down some small amount, right, based on where it lands on the pricing curve. Somebody looking to buy cloudberries might get it at an advantageous price at that moment. So it becomes this kind of real time. I say real time, it's a slow real time, marketplace simulator. This just comes from kind of my love of games like Off-World Trading Co. on Steam, right? And I want to, create something that gives people this kind of peer-to-peer market gameplay at the center of it. So the expectation is you'll come into and check, I think, the market many times every day to just see, there could be an instance where a guild has actually dumped supply via coordinated sell operation, right? And you could pick something up on the cheap that day. And that will favor engagement, that will favor users who are being very strategic about when to buy and sell. And it should prevent some bot activity, given that it's going to be pretty sophisticated to write a bot that would track these movements and know when the right time to sell is, because we're not exposing enough information for, I think, them to make competent decisions. So it's kind of a bot preventative measure as well. Did that answer your question?
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no worries.
Just
Thank you for the question.
We're excited for it.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. Thank you.
All right. Let me move you back to the audience. All right, so we have another another request. This is from Mr. Sir. All right, I've given you permission.
Hey, can you guys
Hey
hear me?
there.
Yep.
Hey, thanks for taking the question. I guess the starting amount of like maximum unicorns you can have in a grid is 27, based from my understanding, if you could have 3 per land. Is there, let's say you have like,
Correct.
40, 50 unicorns in your wallet. Is there any way to link those with other wallets so that you could just like manage everything from one account? I guess like my question is really like, if are you only able to start it with like 27 max, or are you gonna have to wait until that expands to utilize, more unicorns in your wallet?
Yeah, so a couple of options there. You would either have to wait, um, right, until you've upgraded the stables on enough land plots, right, to continue to add additional unicorns, right? So you could kind of take that bet, or you'd split them into 2 wallets, right? Certainly no issue if you wanted to do that. Once the delegation contract becomes a thing, you could begin effectively lending these out to friends or scholars, or whatever you want to do on that front. So there's a couple avenues, but day one, it's going to be a choice of waiting until you've expanded the capacity of the land to add those additional unicorns, or split them across a couple of wallets, remerge them. I get that's a little bit of a hassle, but unfortunately that'll be the reality day one for people with more than 27 unicorns.
Got it. Thank you.
No worries. Appreciate it.
All right. So next we have our very own unicorn guardian. It's SD. Hey SD.
Hello,
Good morning,
Hi.
sir.
you're hearing me. Okay, so my question, our white paper is a little old now, and I know we have a new one coming out soon. But I have a question. The governance section on the original white paper is fairly short and vague. So first of all, I'm just wondering, is the governance DAO token the same rainbow token that's used in the marketplace?
Yes.
I've never really considered if it should be or not, but I know a lot of games have a separate token for trading and for governance. So could you maybe explain how it's going to be different having the same token and why you came to that decision?
The experiment that we're trying here is that you want to give more utility to a governance token beyond simply staking and governance. I think the strongest way to maintain value in a token over time is to ensure that a good chunk of it is being utilized effectively by the protocol. And this is one way to ensure a good chunk of it stays inside of the game economy. And it's also core to the game economy itself. I'm kind of hesitating because you mentioned the governance section is a little vague. It's probably the biggest update in two of the white paper. We're likely delivering that next week. And at that point, there'll be a ton more information. And I think it will start to make sense. But yeah, I mean, we could have obviously used unicorn milk, as the underlying currency in that market. Unicorn milk is a consumable, right? It is a mint and burn token. And we very much wanted to utilize that in crafting, in breeding and evolution, and many other things over time. And again, the rainbow token, yes, has this utility in staking for, to be able to participate and vote on governance decisions. But it's my view and belief that having additional utility beyond that will lead to longer term value in the token, right? So I want people to have to kind of make a choice of, what portion do I stake for governance, versus keep for purchases in game. And again, I think that could lead to the token, holding value over a longer period of time than we've seen with other governance tokens space.
Okay, sounds great. Thank you very much, Aaron.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
All right, I'll move you back to the audience. Okay, then. So we have another request, this time from Alexander Nacho. All right, I've given you access. Hey there.
Hello. Follow-up question regarding the marketplace. You said you have to leverage Unicorn to engage in peer-to-peer trades. Can you expand on that? And does it mean that players without a Unicorn can make use of the marketplace?
We might make a very special exception early on to accommodate for the fact that some people will just have land and not a unicorn. Long term, it will be necessary to send a unicorn to market to both buy and sell. And one thing that does is forces it slows down buying and selling in the marketplace, which I think is important. We definitely do not want a 24/7, 365 by the millisecond market here. And so the idea of, having to saddle up a unicorn and send it to the market, I think helps us both control buy and selling into the market, but keeps it at a pace that, means the average player can make optimal decisions based on market moves. And again, I think people with just land shouldn't freak out. We'll take care of you. But the intent is certainly, and I'll make this clear, like long term, you absolutely need unicorns at land. I mean, that's kind of the point of the game. That's where the synergy comes together. So anyway, again, I think we won't punish anyone who purchased land, was a little too late to grab a corn in the early days. But yeah, long term, you're going to need unicorns. And part of this is just the thesis that you want to provide constant and varied utility for the NFT, for these unicorn NFTs. So the idea there being that, some of your lower statted ones you'll use to send things and, get things from the market. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, very clear. Thank you.
Cool. Thank you.
All right, I'll move you back to the audience. Okay, so we have him again. So Sephiroth is back. Let's see if it works this time.
Please let me know that you're here, man.
Hello?
Oh, God damn it. Yes, hello, everybody. Guys, I have a question regarding the
Okay.
land plots, and I
All right, it's not working.
not,
Let's
no,
call the
you
next
can hear
person
me?
for now. All right, I've given you access. Kabruai, I think. Okay, he's not accepting the invite. All right, let's call Cuckoo. Okay. It's not working either.
Yeah, there's a green bar that go. There we go.
Oh, there we
Hello.
go. Hi, sir.
Hi, good evening. Yeah,
Evening.
I'm just curious. Can you clarify the statement earlier regarding why Polygon? The Cosmos part wasn't clear there because it is already existing blockchain with Cosmos on it, running on Tendermint consensus.
Yeah, go into the Polygon documentation and you see that they started with the Cosmos SDK. Right, like, just that many people have gone and taken like Avalanche or Phantom, right? They're EVM compatible, right? So everybody is reutilizing much of the same code across the industry. I mean, that's kind of been the case from the beginning. And so when I say Polygon is effectively a Cosmos on Ethereum, in that they've taken a very similar model, and from my read of their documentation, they literally reference the Cosmos SDK. So it was my thought that they had started with a lot of that. I could be wrong. But the statement of it is a Cosmos on top of Ethereum is true, right? It is its own internet of blockchain that sits on top of Ethereum instead of trying to be like Cosmos is, a completely separate L1, with its own internet of chain. And it's kind of my belief that Ethereum has the majority of the users, the majority of the developers, the majority of the tools. It's very clear that Ethereum mainnet is not meant for I think Ethereum mainnet is going to be the root of all commerce and trust globally, right? And the actual activity and users will be in the L2s. And so Polygon is certainly a version of a scaling solution. It starts with the proof of stake network. They have all of these additional chains, whether it's the ZK rollup chain, Hermes, Miden, which has been announced. I keep forgetting what they're now calling the Polygon. Anyway, does that answer your question better, or do you have a follow-up?
Yeah. Makes sense.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely one of the reasons that I believe in them. I think that model is smarter. They chose not to bet against Ethereum, but try to scale it. And that I really think is a better route than trying to compete and build a competitive L1. Cool. Thank you for the question.
All right, thank you, sir. I'm going to move you back to the audience. All right, so we have another request. I'm going to call him up now. Hey there.
Hi, good day. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Perfect. So I had a two-part question. The first was in regards to land. Obviously, there's been three different drops. In properties, it's land survey 1, 2, and 3. So my first question is, does that matter at all for gameplay, or is that just for rarity? And B, do you have more information you can elaborate on loot boxes and a starter pack before we actually get the game going in March?
Sure. So I may have misunderstood the land question. I'll give you an answer. It actually answered your question. So the three phases were just designed to sell land over a period of time versus just at one moment to allow us to organically kind of grow the community. The rarity of land, mythic, rare, and common, the TLDR on that is like mythic is going to give you a productive buff for all 9 classes of unicorns, right? The 6 that were a part of the Genesis egg drop, and then of course the 3 hidden classes, which will only be available via breeding. So mythic land, you get mythic, that no matter what unicorn you have now versus in the future, you will always the class matching production buffs. So whether they're crafting or whether they're harvesting, planting seeds, harvesting berries, that kind of, all of that will always be buffed. Rare land, of which there's 3 types, light, mystery, and wonder, buffs a class group, right, which is a group of 3 of the classes. So, not as flexible as mythic, but in particular, if you really like one of the class groups and you want to lean into that class, rare land is going to give you productive buffs for that class group. And then common land is just specific to one class. So you can use unicorns anywhere, right? It does not matter. But if you're looking to fully optimize, you're going to want likely a mixture. And especially if you're leaning into a particular class or class group, that's where rares and potentially mythics would be helpful. Did that answer your first question?
Partially. I was also wondering because in the properties, when you click on each individual piece of land, it'll say land survey. So it would say land survey 1 if it was part of drop 1, land survey 2.
That is more of just a tracking mechanism. That is not relevant to gameplay.
Okay, perfect. And then also the question once again about the starter pack. So when we launch, we'll have unicorn milk. We're going to have seeds and berries, etc. Do you have more information you can elaborate on that?
Yeah, so the kind of loyalty rewards program and stuff that's going to be rolling out, the loot boxes, golden tickets, all that fun stuff. Those will be NFTs sitting in wallets, connect into the game. You'll basically have the opportunity to open those. Loot boxes will open. There are different rarities of loot boxes with higher value rewards behind them. The golden ticket is more like you take the golden ticket into the vending machine with a very simple UI, and it will let you get effectively a starter bundle. This is very much just a system to reward people who are here now, so that day one have a little bit of a leg up, and to help mitigate things, like we were discussing around like the rainbow token marketplace, especially people with just land right now who don't have a unicorn. I would keep your eyes peeled on Discord, try and pick up as much of these giveaways as possible, so that when you start out, you've got a little bit of a leg up, because the rewards coming out of these could be items, materials, and all these kind of things to help you progress early on. It's not our intent to create this real hard grind at the very beginning. We need the entire community to kind of come together and kick off the economy, right? Would go from 10,000 to probably a couple 100,000 unicorns as early as possible, and that will come in with additional land growth, the classes, hidden class land, and stuff.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's a great question. Thank you.
All right, thanks. Moving you back to the audience for now. All right, so we have another request. This time it's again from Sephiroth. Hopefully it works. It's the 5th time he's requesting. Hey.
Yep.
Okay, I think it's because you're muted.
I can hear him, so we're good. Yeah, I can hear you. Beyond the adjacency bonuses and the unicorn productive bonuses, there isn't going to be a benefit day one to Mythic Land. I mean, those bonuses are big enough that I think it's certainly, worth it for the people that want it. But I'm not going to favor a Mythic holder over a common land holder in our yeah. Yes, and yeah, especially if you're wanting to try and breed one of the hidden classes, right? I mean, there's going to be a really interesting opportunity for kind of enterprising breeders early on, and an optimal strategy would probably be to buy one of the rare lands that represents the class group you want to lean into. Make sure you obviously have unicorns of both the current classes there, and then really start trying via crafting to get the, plant seeds of the hidden class, grow those berries, and then leverage them to ensure that you're kind of reweighting the new unicorn towards that hidden class, right? So yeah, that would probably be my okay. Cool. Yes. You have an optimal strategy, in my opinion, sir. So you should be good. Thank you for the question. Hey, it worked. 5th time.
Yeah. Glad to hear it. Are we good? Okay, I think we are. All right, so next we have Baladuki. Let's call him or her up. Hey there.
Hi, good day. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yep.
All right. Just a quick question. I'm not sure that have this question been asked or answered. Would like to know what are the long plans for long-term crypto unicorn players since day one for unicorn and land since they minted the first day of minting of land and unicorns. Yep.
You're probably not going to like this answer because it involves me saying something rather coy, but we are putting in and going to reward those who've been here from the very beginning. Not necessarily at the disadvantage of new community members, but I recognize people who've been here, since pre-November 15th, and we absolutely want to make sure that they're rewarded as a result of that. So more detail in the very near future on that front, sir.
All right. Is there any hints on airdrops or anything like that?
I can just say yes, that there will be.
All right. Appreciate it. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
absolutely.
All right, thanks. I'm going to move you back to the audience. And Fluffy, I don't think we have. All right, sorry, we have another request. I've given you permission. Hey there.
Hi there, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, hi Aaron. In regards with the breeder DAO that you mentioned just now, can you elaborate further the relationship between breeder DAO and crypto unicorns?
Yeah, they've reached out to us. Brian, runs marketing for us here, is leading discussions with them. Obviously, they're very interested in, purchasing land and kicking off a breeding op. It's to me that is a company that raised all that money quickly. The weird world we live in today. But yeah, them and other player DAO partners we're obviously interested in partnering with, and so we're certainly pointing them in the direction of the third land sale phase and the secondary market to purchase their initial set of unicorns.
Okay, that's all. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, no worries.
All right, thanks. Okay, I think we've exhausted all the requests. So, Fluffy, would you want to read the questions from the text channel?
Yep, this is from Carlos HM. He has two questions. Is there a plan to launch more crypto unicorns in the future? I think he means breeding here. And the second question is, it is more or less clear that the uses that the unicorns will have in the different game modes, but what are the other uses for lands?
Okay. The 10,000 Genesis eggs are the only, unicorn eggs we will ever sell, right? Now, of course, there'll be hopefully millions, if not tens of millions or more, unicorn eggs that are birthed out of breeding, right? But we're not going to inflate the supply via another primary sell of unicorns or eggs. It is very much up to the community via the breeding system, the evolutionary system to take us forward as a collective economy, right? So, and everyone should really pay attention. There will be no more unicorn. I'm very surprised no one's asked me about tomorrow yet. Tomorrow's going to be a fun day. I'll just leave that alpha leak at that. It should be a very fun day for the community. But yeah, no more unicorns post what was sold on November 15th. Was there a second part to that question? If so, I forgot about it. I was thinking about the dark forest.
Yeah, he was asking if there would be any other purposes to lands aside from farming.
Yeah, so obviously farming is core to that. You have crafting, I probably means farming and crafting together. Crafting crafts, not only materials to progress land, but obviously breeding and evolutionary boosters, which I think will be very important, particularly for those people looking to really optimize the stats of their unicorns. Land is going to have other uses, right? Neighborhoods, I see mostly a social use case, but it's going to be, I think, a ton of fun. Neighborhoods will let you effectively form a guild, a mini social network, whatever you call it. You'll be able to bring your land plot, or if you have multiple, your like Tetris piece, your estate of land into a shared map with anyone that you want. I think that'll be particularly fun for the large player DAOs, as well as just users that want to kind of band together. That template in and of itself gives us a lot of power to, for example, host a live event where you might warp your land tile in this event with many other players, kind of massive world map, and participate in a shared, weekly or maybe even monthly, month-long event. So there will be additional for land. We're thinking about it very much in the social context, though.
Okay, are we good? Because we have 4 more requests. Anyway, thanks for that, Aaron. I'm gonna call on the next person. All right, Barbigon. Hello.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Okay. Yep.
Yep.
Okay. So I have multiple questions here. So the first one is the game Crypto Unicorns gonna be on just mobile platform, or is it gonna be on a PC or Mac or maybe other platform?
Yeah, so we're launching on web initially, quickly going to iOS and Android. We use Unity as our front end, so demo videos and stuff sharing out in the near future. You're going to see the WebGL build working, which has been awesome to see that come together. And then we come from a background as mobile game, so redeploying on iOS for us. So WebGL will be first, followed by iOS and Android shortly after.
Okay, cool. And the second question is one player gonna be accepted for having multiple accounts for the game?
I mean, I mentioned that earlier, right? If you have a huge stock of unicorns right now and you kind of want to split land and those unicorns across several accounts, there's certainly not going to be an issue there. I think what we're going to frown upon, hardcore bot activity. I think we've made a choice in that, it's hard to prevent bots in any game. So in some ways, we've kind of accepted that and made things where like you have to be strategic in how you craft recipes. You have to be buy and sell from the Rainbow Token marketplace, and we're creating systems that I think require a human in the loop as I think a stronger bot preventative measure beyond all the traditional things that game devs do to prevent bots.
Yeah, glad to hear that. And the third, can I ask some more question or?
Yeah, we got one more. Let's do it.
Okay. The next question is, I've read the white paper and I'm a little bit confused about the rainbow token and the rainbow crystal. Is it the same thing or
yes.
is it not?
Yeah, that was my bad in editing the white paper. I just missed that we had updated it to the rainbow token. So rainbow crystals are rainbow token. I have fixed that in V2, so that should clear up a lot of confusion next week when it drops.
Yeah, okay. And last question, can you give a little bit information about the IDO for the rainbow token?
Yes. I guess I'll, go ahead and tell everybody the plans in advance of the white paper next week. So we're going to be doing a public sell via Copper Launch platform, which leverages the balancer's liquidity bootstrapped pools as a mechanism. I've come around to doing that. Obviously, in the first version of the white paper, we talked about Sushi. So I had thought that Sushi would bring that platform to Polygon, but it remains exclusive to Ethereum mainnet. And we've seen a lot of great projects go through the Copper Launch platform without issues. So it is now less of an IDO and more public sell in its structure.
Okay, that's all for me. Thank you.
Cool. Thank you for the questions.
All right, great. Thanks. I've moved him to the audience, just letting you know, guys, that we have 6 minutes left. We are ending this 5 minutes before top of the hour. So let's call the next one MrRko. Okay, I don't think that worked. Oh, he's
there we
here.
go. Can you
Hello.
guys hear me?
Yep.
There we go. All right, Aaron. Gonna cut to the chase. Alpha League. Tell us. Tell us right now. Alpha League.
Wow.
Tomorrow is going to be a very, very fun day for everyone. 3 p.m. Pacific time. I wouldn't get your hopes up on some hyper sophisticated game experience. It's a very simple mini game, but I think it will be a lot of fun. And my hope is that it shows people we can both do the more degen on-chain smart contract mini games, as well as build a fully fledged experience. So when it drops tomorrow, there will be a blog post on Medium that I think walks people through the mechanics of the game and the kind of choices that they can make. And it's very much up to the community as to what direction. And I want people to kind of read it, absorb it, and hopefully get really excited about it. So I'm not going to spoil 100%, but it's a mini game definitely designed to kickstart our economy going into the game launch, and something to kind of hold the community over as we get through the month of February, get into March. Anyway, should be fun.
Awesome.
Thank you for putting me on the spot.
You're welcome, man. You're welcome.
Cheers.
Oh man, made me excited. See you guys later.
All right, thanks, MrRko. All right, so we have C Brown, and we only have 4 minutes, guys.
I can go over a little bit, you know. I'll make investors wait, tell them I was talking to the community.
All right. Okay, I've given you permission, C Brown. Okay, I don't think it's working right now, so let's give the next one the permission. All right, Cuckoo is back. Hey there.
Hey, I'm back.
Okay.
My
So,
man.
hello. Just want to ask about if you have content creator programs, because I'm a content creator, and there are a lot of people as well that I know that wants to do content for the game. Do you do you have such programs for people like us?
Definitely. They're going to be via the ecosystem fund, which once we get the rainbow token loaded in February, we'll begin to take on partners via the ecosystem fund. So we'll have a lot of plans on that we'll announce, but we're viewing that the purpose of that fund is to grow and build our community and the ecosystem. So one of those, one of the avenues to do so is via content creators like yourself, sir. So stay tuned, and let's definitely connect as we release plans on that front for sure.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries.
Thank you. Let's now move you back to the audience. All right, and proceed to the next one. Sorry if I'm doing this really fast this time. Hey, Jimin.
Hey guys, can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yep.
Awesome. Just to elaborate a bit further regarding your Breeder DAO collaboration. So you mentioned that they have to purchase unicorns off the secondary market. Have you collaborated and sold NFTs to other guilds, or do they all have to purchase off the secondary market?
We did not do any private sales. Either had to purchase them via the same 2 public sales, or 3 if you include Genesis Egg sell, or on the secondary market.
Awesome. So I guess that's Alpha League.
Yeah, very much so. I mean, listen, the player DAOs are, I think, an important component of the space, but as much as possible, do not want to specifically favor them over individual community members. So generally, we're going to partner with anyone that wants to work with us, but not going to give anyone special privilege or access that your average member wouldn't have. I think that's basic community building, kind of 101.
Yeah, makes perfect sense. Thank you very much, and you're welcome, guys.
All right.
Appreciate the question.
Okay, moving you back to the audience. Do we still have time, Aaron?
Yeah, we can go to the top of the hour. I'll hop in an Uber.
All right then. So I'm giving you permission, C Brown. Hey, C Brown. Okay, I don't think it's working. Let's give permission to Lil Debs instead. Hey, Debbie. Is everything okay? All right, let's give her a bit of time. Okay, yeah, that worked. Is your mic working?
Hello?
Hey.
Hey.
Hi. So this isn't really a question. It's more a can people please retweet my content creator video on Twitter?
I saw it. It was great. It was great.
Just a little plug. And because a few people
I
in the chat
retweeted
wanted
it.
to hear my voice.
No, that was
But yeah.
exciting. I think that was the first one that I saw in the contest. So definitely appreciate you doing that.
You're welcome. I loved it. So yeah, thank you.
Cool.
All right.
And that was it. That's all I wanted to say.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Debbie. And yeah, thank you for your creation. All right. So, Fluffy, I think we could answer a few more text questions.
We'll do a rapid fire round.
Yep.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, we have a bit of scrolling up to do. But we have questions here about. Sorry, that's been answered already. Oh yeah, do Genesis unicorns have any special effects in the game?
No, other than being only unicorns that breed the entire economy. The advantage of having a unicorn is being able, obviously, to optimize day one, and they're the foundation for the entire generative unicorn NFT set, right? So, and I think they'll always have a special place in everyone's hearts, even as they get bred to 0 breed points over time, right? But there won't be any necessarily special bonuses specific to the Genesis eggs or the origin set of 10,000 unicorns.
Do we have room for another one? I think we only have 2 more minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, this one's from Unicorn Bob. Last question. What do you think the price floors of unicorns will be in 5 years' time?
Asking me the one question I can't really comment on. Listen, I'm all about value, building something that's long-term and sustainable. And like I was kind of saying on the Delphi podcast, do that collectively and together. And so, I've started to realize that crypto unicorns as a game is really just like this arcade sitting in the wider metaverse, right? And my hope is 5 to 10 years from now, it is this very popular arcade that people are excited to come and play in and participate in and spend time in. And I think we're at kind of the different trends. Games have been becoming social networks. We now have this blockchain primitives are giving us a way to kind of align all of our incentives via the tokenomics, this kind of shared token that we all get to participate in, get to leverage to vote and make changes. And so it's really on us collectively to preserve value and grow, value for all of us collectively. So it's certainly not on me at all as a leadership. It's something we're going to have to work together towards. So not the answer you probably wanted, but I'm not going to necessarily speculate on where the prices are going to go. I will say maybe I should do more podcasts. A pretty crazy couple of days since the Delphi podcast.
All right, thanks for that. But yeah, definitely, this is a collective process. And like you said before, we plan for this to be a generational IP. All right. I think that wraps up our monthly AMA, everyone. We'll be posting a recording of this AMA on our socials if you'd like to listen back. Thank you, Aron, for your time, and thank you, everyone, for coming.
Yep. Thanks for the questions. Looking forward to the next one and going to be excited to see community reaction to Dark Forest tomorrow. Cheers, everyone.
Right. Guys, by the way, if you have questions, just drop them in Ask the Devs instead, and someone will get back to you. Anyway, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.